start our subject, today's subject, vitamin D. What is vitamin D? Vitamin D comes from sun rays. It's absorbed through our skin and remains in our body and gets converted to the vitamin D that we can use. And it is rather a hormone than a vitamin. When we say vitamin D, everyone thinks of our bones. That's correct. That's absolutely very important for our bones. But since vitamin D is a hormone, it has more than 250 functions in our body and affects 1,000 genes. More than 1,000 genes. What are the functions of vitamin D? One of the most important functions is about brain tissue, all the brain functions. It does this throughout the brain tissue. We can see that all parts of brain tissue has vitamin D receptors. We can see that how vitamin D is so important for our brain. First of all, vitamin D is a nutrition for the brain. It protects the brain. It's used in the construction of new brain cells and tissue. It repairs old brain cells and old nerve cells. It establishes connection between nerves. It helps with learning new things and many brain functions. Vitamin D is indispensable for the brain. So, good functioning of thyroid gland functioning, our immune system, heart, these are other important tasks. And also it prevents diseases and cancer. Because all of our body, all the tissues, all the organ needs vitamin D, there are vitamin D receptors in all our organs and tissues. For example, digestive organs, our stomachs, the bowels, bones, breast, prostate. It is found in white blood cells called lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are the cells that fight with viral infections. Viral infections in vitamin D deficiency is so prevalent. So if we don't have enough vitamin D in our body, our ability to fight with viral infections go down. So that happened around COVID pandemic. And vitamin D intake was recommended highly around pandemic time. People with normal vitamin D during the pandemic recovered quickly from COVID-19. Those who were hospitalized because of the COVID-19, they had heart damage if they did not have enough vitamin D. 80% of the cases had vitamin D deficiency. And 71% of people who died from COVID, they had vitamin D deficiency. So we can see how effective vitamin D is to prevent and heal from infections. Vitamin D is so effective on the human system that studies shown that it also protects people from 19 different types of cancer. So it is absolutely indispensable for our immune system as well. And as we all know, vitamin D affects the calcium metabolism, calcium mechanism for our bones. It's important for our memory. A lot of studies shows that vitamin D deficiency is associated with Alzheimer's and also progression. If we want to prevent progression of Alzheimer's, vitamin D is very important too. So what are the causes of vitamin D deficiency? First of all, because we say vitamin D comes from sun rays. So Not getting enough sun is one of the reasons, right? If we're not getting enough sun, we cannot absorb enough vitamin D and we cannot really convert it in our body. The first reason is that where we live, the sun rays, it's about the equatorial belt gets the most sunrise. Then we go towards the northern countries, sun rays are not like steep. Sun rays don't come direct. That's why they are not as efficient. And the same when we go down from, the parallels are important. Southern part of the earth also doesn't get enough sun rays. So the best sun rays the people get around the equatorial belt. Sun rays decreases, and I don't know if you're familiar with these 6 zones where centenarians live. There are 6 zones, blue zones in the world, where the people live more than 100 years, those populations. And I don't think that's a coincidence that they are very close to equator belt. So they are getting the best sunshine. So people with fair skin, another reason for vitamin D deficiency. People with fair skin color absorb vitamin D very quickly, but people with dark skin cannot absorb as efficient. Dark skin people don't have enough vitamin D for that reason. In order to get it, they need to stay under the sun longer, maybe. For that reason, people's skin is dark in hot climates and light in cold countries. Smoking. Our third reason why we get very deficient in vitamin D is smoking. Smoking affects the production of vitamin D by at least 3 different mechanisms. So, as we see here too, there is another reason to stop smoking if we smoke. Absence of gallbladder. If we don't have our gallbladder, we are relying only little drips of gall material from our liver. So gallbladder, that potent, the sac of gall material is missing. So gall material is important for fat absorption, right? And these vitamins, not only D, A, D, E, K, fat-soluble vitamins, can be absorbed and utilized better if we have enough gall material. So another reason to take care of our gallbladder very well and not get it taken out, okay? So another reason is, we said the sun rays give us vitamin D and we convert them to be able to utilize in our liver and kidneys. So if our kidney and liver functions are not sufficient, we cannot utilize vitamin D. So people who have fatty liver disease, whose kidney functions are low, those people unfortunately cannot convert vitamin D efficiently, and they are mostly, we see them in the clinic too, they are vitamin D deficient. Okay, so another reason, obesity. Vitamin D deficiency is more common in obese people. It happens a lot with the obese population because vitamin D absorption decreases when it binds to fat. So obese people suck up all the vitamin D to to their fat cells. And if they are not burning these fat regularly, if they are not utilizing it, then they become vitamin D deficient. That's why we recommend obese people, I mean, we look at their levels, of course, they are usually more deficient, and we give them higher doses of vitamin D. But again, vitamin D toxicity also happens mostly in obese people. You can see here that there is a problem in vitamin D metabolism in obese people. So there is another reason why we need to be in ideal weight. Okay, vitamin D, you see how important it is, and you know, for all our bodily function, if we want to be healthy, we need to be in ideal weight. Okay, another reason why we are vitamin deficient, being over age 65. As we know, everything declines after age 65. When we're aging, our collagen layer decreases, collagen production decreases, so we cannot absorb sun rays very well, and we cannot convert sun rays vitamin D to the active form, from inactive form to the active form in our liver and the kidneys, so everything slows down. For that reason, people over 65 should stay under the sun longer, with protection, of course, a little bit sun protection, because we don't want sunburns either, and especially wrinkles as well. So what are the symptoms of vitamin D deficiency? So I listed here like 10 symptoms of vitamin D deficiency. First of all, we said how important vitamin D is for our bones, right? That's why we see a lot of symptoms on our bones, skeletal system, bone pain, joint pain, back pain. It hurts when you press down on shin bone or sternum here. It hurts. These, you know, these long bones. If there's vitamin D deficiency, when we press down, it hurts. It becomes sensitive, like tender. So, but you know, at that point it's too late. You don't want to wait until your bones become tender. So that's why it's very important to keep up with good levels of vitamin D. And if it's not treated at this level, if you have pain when you press down on your bones, if it's not treated, like immediately osteoporosis starts at that point. So bone fractures, for example, with slightest impact, we get bone fractures if you don't have enough vitamin D. For example, you're coughing and then you have rib fracture. Insomnia, sleep apnea, not very well rested in the mornings, not being able to get up. So that's one of the symptoms of vitamin D. So that needs to be investigated. So being sick all the time. There are people like always have a runny nose. I will say allergies. No, like they need to check the vitamin D. There is something wrong there. Immune system is not functioning well. Maybe, you know, most of the time it's vitamin D deficiency. We don't actually see any people, unless they are taking vitamin D supplements, almost nobody has enough vitamin D in their body. Okay, so constant muscle aches, one of the side effects, back aches, fibromyalgia, for example, feeling tired all the time, feeling depressed, low energy, generally like feeling unwell. It's like they are not feeling themselves like the best version of themselves. Wounds not healing quickly, for example, psoriasis, skin problems, hair loss, muscle cramps, restless leg syndrome, tremors. So these are signs of deficiency of vitamin D. Okay, so what are the sources of vitamin D? Where will we get it? Where will we buy it? So vitamin D comes from sunlight. We say, you know, sun rays gets absorbed by our skin and it's converted to active form of vitamin D by our liver and the kidney, right? So therefore, under the influence of the sun, like when we do sunbathing, spring and summertime, we're happier, and usually young people, this active form of vitamin D lasts all winter until the summer, but for many people after age 50 it does not last long. That's why it needs to be supplemented, especially if people have symptoms, the symptoms I listed earlier. So when people come to the clinic with depression, tiredness, they're just not feeling well, we check their vitamin D right away, and almost always, we're never wrong, almost, their vitamin D is deficient. Okay, so vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin, we said, and it has two types. One, vitamin D2, is ergocalciferol. That comes from the plants. For example, mushrooms. Porcini mushroom has the highest amount of vitamin D. And vitamin D3, cholecalciferol, comes from animal sources. So that's from lanolin, the sheepskin. They derived it from sheepskin. So in our diet, there is some vitamin D, but it's not sufficient. People are already eating those things, and they don't have enough vitamin D in their body. So those, like salmon, some seafood, eggs, egg yolks, and liver, animals' liver. Yeah, so many people are already eating these, but it's just not enough. Okay. What should be the normal level of vitamin D in our body? Vitamin D should be between 30 and 100 nanogram milliliter in our body. We recommend testing because, it's a wide range, and if it's lower than 30, people usually have the symptoms. Get tested. It's very important to act according to the results. Between 60 and 80 nanogram is ideal. For example, patients come with symptoms of depression. Their vitamin D is like 3, like 6. Yeah, I even saw 3. So that patient was very depressed. So for those people, if it is under 16, we give depot dose. Okay, I'll talk about that a little later. We give weekly depot doses. Okay, the patients who come with depression, very low, under 16, for example, they don't start feeling better until at least it's 30 nanogram. So that's why we have to bump it up to normal levels as quick as possible. So that's why we give depot doses. Okay. So depot dose, if it's under 16, the guidelines are like that. If it's under 16, the depot dose is 50,000 unit weekly for 3 months. At the end of 3 months, we check it again. If it is still not normal levels, we give another 8 to 12 weeks. But if it is normal level, we continue with 2,000 unit or 5,000 unit daily. Okay. So another approach is, instead of giving 50,000 units weekly, 10,000 unit daily. So which makes it like 70,000 unit a week. So, and there are some arguments about that when you give 50,000, not all of them will be absorbed. So that can be done too. So 10,000 units a day, making it slow absorption, and 70,000 units a week. So, but usually because insurance pays 50,000 weekly better, so that's why we do that. That's the other reason. But with 50,000 units a week, it's usually in normal levels when we check it at the 8-week or 12-week mark. Okay. So we are aiming at least 30, but patients feel better if it is 50 to 80 nanogram. Okay. So how about sun? How long are we going to stay under the sun? 15 minutes a day or 20 minutes is the better, at least 3 days a week. But again, we told earlier that you need to be absorbing the sun rays like directly. If you are living in countries away from the equator, it's not going to be enough time to spend to get enough vitamin D. So you may need to do like longer than 20 minutes to be able to get at least like 1,000 units from vitamin D from the sun. So when we're under the sun, we need to protect our face. It causes wrinkles. Okay, the vitamin D storage from the sun rays during the summer may last throughout the winter. For young people, may not last for older people. That's why, and older people, especially postmenopausal women, they need a lot of vitamin D to be able to utilize calcium in their bones. So it's very important that vitamin D gets supplemented, really. Okay. So if vitamin D test was never done, you want to make sure you're getting vitamin D enough. Just do between 600 unit to 2,000 unit. So these are safe levels, okay? Up to 2,000 unit vitamin D2 or D3 a day is sufficient, and it's a safe dose. So vitamin D is a hormone. That's why, we don't want to be like it has toxic levels too. We don't want to reach to toxic levels of vitamin D. So that's important. We don't want to go beyond 100 nanogram in our blood. So it gets toxic at that point. Okay, what else? So one of the most important things about vitamin D absorption and utilization in our body is magnesium. So we are codependent to the magnesium as well as vitamin D, because vitamin D doesn't get utilized as well if we don't have enough magnesium in our body. So, and many people are deficient in magnesium. We don't consume enough green leafy vegetables every day. So the main source of magnesium is green leafy vegetables. Is because it's where the chlorophyll is, the center of the greens. So that's why, it's cheap to supplement magnesium, 300, 400 milligram per day. It's, it helps with relaxation, sleep, for our muscles, bones. So why not just take 300, 400 milligram magnesium as well as vitamin D a day. So either from food or, from the vegetables, okay? Magnesium removes the vitamin D from the fat tissue and it activates it, okay? So I can get some questions if there are any here. You guys can send it me over messengers. I'm trying to see on the screen, but I can't see it. So, yeah, I look at my messenger. I don't see any questions here. You can always write your questions to me. I'll go to work later, but when I see it later in the day, I'll answer those, okay? So, and also, if you want me to work on another subject and present in one of the lives, please let me know. Just put it in the comment section, okay? And there are some questions. Let me quickly answer that. There was something about vitamin K question. So, if you're taking vitamin D, should we take vitamin K as well? So, vitamin K is just so easy to get from, again, green leafy vegetables, right? We need, how much vitamin K we need? We need like 50 microgram, like 45-50 microgram a day. And 1 cup of spinach has 150. So it's like 3 times than we need. So, and especially if you're eating 1 cup of cooked spinach, it's like 3 times more than that, like 450. So that's not a concern in my opinion. But if you want to supplement vitamin K for your, if you think I'm taking too much vitamin D to make it to correct level, and then it's gonna be too much calcium utilization and it's gonna get stored or cause plaques in my arteries. If you're worrying about your heart and artery health, you can take vitamin K if you want, K2, but it's just so easy to get it from the vegetables, green leafy vegetables as well. So yeah, and then you're adding another supplement. It's just like when you get into the supplement world, it's just like endless. So if you can get it from vegetables, and vegetables have the magnesium too. If you're getting enough greens every day, you don't even need to supplement for magnesium. So just vitamin D.